The street store is something that we feel incredibly proud of and very passionate about. A young creative team, Max Bazak and Kaylee Leviton, came to Gordon Ray, who's the ECD of our Cape Town agency, and Jason Harrison, the managing director, and they said they'd been incredibly perturbed by the number of homeless people that they'd seen in the area. And they thought they'd come up with what was a very interesting idea. And Gordy phoned me and he said, "Mike, come down and have a look at this. We've got this really fantastic idea to clothe homeless people." And the street store really is the world's first rent-free, premises-free pop-up street store. And the big idea here is it's made entirely by posters. So the store can literally be put up within a couple of hours anywhere, where the posters themselves form the merchandising for the clothing. And the really powerful idea is that what it does is it bridges the gap between those that have and those that don't. And it gives dignity to both. For people that can give clothing, they often don't know what to do with it. And so you drop off a big black bag somewhere and who knows what happens to it. For homeless people, they often have to just take what they get, whether it suits them, whether they like the color, whether the shoe is their size, it makes no difference. So for the street store, what the homeless can have is a very genuine shopping experience that gives them dignity. And when people feel good about themselves, they start tending to want to make positive changes about their lives. It was so amazing to be there on the day and to watch, for example, one gentleman arrived. He was on his way to a job interview, and he had this old threadbare suit on, and his shoes were literally falling apart, and he hadn't had a job interview in a long time. And he came up there and he said, "Do you by any chance have shoes for me?" And he was able not just to put his feet into anything, but to find shoes that fitted him, were good quality and matched his suit. And you just literally saw him elevate himself, and he walked away with this big smile and so much pride and more confidence. And I guess if he gets that job, he will be off the street. The really powerful thing over here is that the agency looks at ideas that can drive remarkable change. And in that instance, we saw it. And I guess the global media have picked up on that in terms of the Huffington Post and Bono's One organization, and literally the calls that we are getting from newspapers, magazines, television stations, radio stations around the world. And what excites us about that is not how the media has picked up on the idea. What excites us is the ability for that media to create traction, to seed that idea in the markets, because the street store is an open source idea. We don't want to own it. What we want is for people to own it and for people to run street stores all around the world. So there'll be another street store within the next couple of weeks in Cape Town. We've had over 30 requests from people around the world already that want to run street stores. We are going to be having a street store, I think, in a couple of weeks in Milan, which really amuses me as the fashion capital of the world, running a street store for the homeless. So it's a very powerful idea, and for people watching this video, I mean, go on to thestreetstore.org. It is totally open source, and we encourage people to own it and to have their own street stores and hopefully transform the lives of thousands, tens of thousands of homeless around the world. So the first street store, we partnered the Night Haven shelter. They are in Dewaterkant. We went to them and we said, "We've had this idea, what do you think?" And they loved the idea, and they said it works on so many fronts. Obviously in terms of the basic need of providing clothing, but in terms of the choice, giving people choice, giving people dignity. So they were the partners of the street store for the very first one. And so what we plan to do is to work in tandem with homeless shelters, or in areas where we can see there's a strong predominance of homeless people, and to spread the word that there will be a street store coming next week, because it obviously relies on the givers of the clothing, and this was really driven very strongly through social media, and a lot of local celebrities and radio stations got involved, and they heard about it, they retweeted it, and they created their own tweets. And literally we had bags and bags of clothing arriving and people wanting to get involved throughout the day, literally until 7 p.m. that evening. And so what we do is we do seed it through social media. Fortunately, there are a lot of people that are now watching us. If I have a look at the Facebook page. I think we've had over 80,000 impressions within 5 days on the thing, and really a great level of interest. And the media has helped to drive it, which has been fantastic. So we publicise where it's going to be, and they literally arrive on the day, wherever the venue is, and they start taking black bags out of their boot. Somebody was walking past and she said, "What is this thing?" And we explained it to her, and she took the jersey off and she said, "Here, I don't need this." And she handed in her jersey right then and there because she didn't have any clothing, and she thought it was such a remarkable thing. So we will be seeding it again. We did seed it through social media last time and had a great response. With people arriving, and then word of mouth spread very quickly, and then people heard it on the radio because it was covered on all of the local radio stations in Cape Town, and then onto national radio. So once again, we will seed it with the radio stations, and it's just amazing the way the media have got behind this, much like this interview, and helping to drive awareness behind this amazing idea.